There is a color that makes penalty takers miss, and they don't even know it's happening. In a 2013 study, experienced footballers scored fewer goals when the goalkeeper wore one specific color. Their confidence didn't drop. Their technique didn't change, but their accuracy did. The color? Red. And the science behind it goes back 200,000 years. That study is real. We'll get back to it. But it's only one piece of a much bigger story. A 150-year evolution that starts with goalkeepers who were completely invisible, runs through a rule that gave them exactly 3 colors to choose from, and ends with a scientific arms race over what a jersey can do to the human brain. We're going to go from Victorian England to Soviet Moscow, to a 5'6" Mexican who designed his own psychedelic kits, and back to that study with the full story of why red does what it does. And it starts in a place you wouldn't expect. A place where the goalkeeper didn't exist at all. In the earliest years of organized football, the 1860s, 1870s, there was no such thing as a goalkeeper. The laws of the game didn't mention the position. Players wore their own street clothes, wool trousers, heavy boots, thick sweaters. Everyone on the same team looked identical. The goalkeeper position wasn't formally written into the rules until 1871. But even then, the keeper wore the same kit as every other player on the pitch. Same shirt, same shorts, same everything. Now picture a goalmouth scramble. 6 players in a heap. The ball pops loose. Someone grabs it, and the referee has to decide instantly whether the person holding the ball is the goalkeeper or an outfield player committing a handball. He couldn't tell. Nobody could tell. For decades, this was a recurring problem in English football. So in 1909, the English FA did something that would quietly change the sport forever. They passed a rule. Goalkeepers must wear a distinct color. But here's the thing nobody remembers. They didn't say, wear whatever you want. They gave keepers exactly 3 options: scarlet, royal blue, or white. That's it. Green, the color we now associate with classic goalkeeping. That wasn't even allowed until around 1912. Once green was permitted, it took over almost immediately. And the reason wasn't psychological. It wasn't because green is calming, or because it symbolizes the pitch. That's a myth. Green won because of pure logistics. In English football, most teams played in some combination of red, blue, white, or black. Green was the one color that almost never clashed with anybody. It was the path of least resistance. Nothing more. And so, for the better part of 70 years, goalkeepers around the world wore green. It became so standardized, so automatic, that people forgot it was ever a choice at all. But there was one man who refused to follow the script. In 1950s Moscow, a goalkeeper named Lev Yashin walked onto the pitch in head-to-toe dark kit. Not green, not scarlet. Dark. So dark it looked black on the grainy television broadcasts of the era. In reality, it was deep navy, but that didn't matter. To the millions watching, he was a shadow in the goalmouth. They called him the Black Spider, because with his lightning reflexes and impossibly long reach, he looked like he had 8 arms. He remains the only goalkeeper in history to win the Ballon d'Or. In 1963, Yashin didn't just play differently, he looked different, and that look became its own form of power. But that was just the beginning, because what happened next turned the goalkeeper jersey from a uniform into a weapon. Remember that study from the start of this video? Here's the full story. In 2013, researchers Greenlees, Einon, and Thelwell ran an experiment. They had 40 experienced footballers take penalty kicks against a goalkeeper. Same goalkeeper, same position. The only variable, the color of the jersey. Red, green, blue, yellow. The result, players facing the goalkeeper in red scored significantly fewer penalties than those facing green or blue. And here's the truly unsettling part. The penalty takers didn't feel any less confident. They reported the same expected success rate regardless of color. The red jersey wasn't making them think they'd miss. It was making them miss without them realizing why. The theory traces back to a 2005 study by Hill and Barton, published in Nature. They found that in Olympic combat sports, boxing, wrestling, taekwondo, the competitor assigned red had won significantly more often than the one in blue. Their hypothesis, red functions as a biologically based dominance signal. It's the color of flushed skin, of aggression, of don't mess with me. And your brain processes it before your conscious mind even gets involved. Now, does this mean every goalkeeper should wear red? Not so fast, because in 2016, Kren and Hansteiner tried to replicate that study. They ran a similar experiment, and they found nothing. No significant effect of goalkeeper jersey color on penalty outcomes. The scientific community is split. The red effect might be real under extreme pressure, a World Cup shootout, 80,000 fans screaming, but it may vanish in a controlled lab. The jury is genuinely still out. What isn't debated is that goalkeepers figured out the psychology of appearance long before the scientists did. Peter Schmeichel, Manchester United's legendary Dane, wore size XXXL jerseys. He was big, 6 feet 4 inches, around 100 kilos, but not that big. The oversized shirt was deliberate. It made him look enormous. Combined with his famous star jump save, where he'd spread every limb to its maximum extension, he filled the goal frame like a wall. And then there was Jorge Campos, the Mexican international who stood just 5 feet 6 inches, tiny for a goalkeeper. Campos couldn't make himself bigger, so he went the opposite direction. He designed his own kits through his company, ACA Sport, explosions of neon psychedelic geometric patterns inspired by the surf culture of his hometown, Acapulco. His 1994 World Cup jersey is now in the FIFA Museum in Zurich. Were those kits art, self-expression, or deliberate visual disruption, a way to overwhelm a striker's peripheral vision with noise? Campos said it was personal style. Analysts suspect it was also tactical. The truth is probably both. So here's what's really going on. The goalkeeper jersey isn't just a uniform requirement. It's a 150-year story about a problem that started with confused Victorian referees and evolved into one of the most psychologically charged pieces of clothing in professional sport. The color exists because of a rule. The rule exists because of chaos. And the chaos taught us something we're still trying to prove in laboratories. That what you see changes how you perform. Sometimes before you even know you've seen it. Every neon pink jersey, every murdered-out black kit, every acid-trip Campos creation. It's all part of the same arms race. An arms race where the weapon isn't speed or strength, it's color.